Your order.
I'm Brian Hooks, an actor down on my luck.
So basically, it's like a Dave Chappelle's Block Party meets In Living Color type of deal.
Sounds like a great idea, but why would I want to do a show with you?
I think you're ready. The streets think you're ready. Hollywood ain't ready.
You know what? I just shoot the show myself.
So I came up with the plan to rejuvenate my career. Me?
Yes.
Myself.
And look at me, you see this stomach? I don't like to talk about it, I like to be about it.
And I.
Damn! What in the hell have you two just been eating?
What a day, what a move. People be like, hey man, where you been? I'm like, what you mean? Where I been? What you think? So you still doing the acting thing? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm still doing the acting thing. But you know, I was just doing what I do, but they used to see me do what they want me to do, which is being in front of the camera. And so that's one of the things that motivate me. I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what's next and get back in front of the camera. But I love being behind the camera producing. So we started off with the whole sketches and putting those together, and then it just kept growing organically. And I was just, you know, I would go to sleep and I would wake up with these ideas, you know, and then it just grew into this modern day Hollywood shuffle. So to speak, is the best way to explain this, the film, and you know, with the tone of like a hangover, and it's kind of, you know, loosely based on my journey in Hollywood, of course dramatized, and you know, with a whole lot of funny in it, and that's kind of sort of, you know, how, you know, it just came to be. Bernard Holmes brought Brother Hair Care. He does the biggest hair show in the world down in Atlanta, Upscale magazine and all that, you know, and that's my partner. So he came over. He didn't know what we were doing, you know what I mean? And he came over at my house and he said, and he watched the movie, and then he turned at some point and said, "This is a real movie." And I said, "Yeah, what the hell you think I've been doing the past 2 years?" And so it was him who said, okay, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I know marketing, and I know there's a space for this, and we're gonna do it theatrical. And I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Again, my thing is to make a good film and to get caught up on, this has to be theatrical. I've learned you just have to make the film and you know, let it run its course.
So would you say that's your, not to interrupt you, would you say that's your audience, the Fridays and the...
Definitely, and even moving forward, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people, you know, they say, well, I want to make a mainstream film, or I want to make, you know, a film, you know, a white film, or I want to do a black film. Well, I do want to make an urban film. I want to make movies for the hood, and I want to make black films because, you know what I mean, it's, you know, that's what I do and that's what I know. Now, when I say that, I think you know, urban stretches to, you know, black and white.
Oh yeah.
It's a young,
Nowadays.
You know what I'm saying?
3 strikes. Oh my God, I knew you, man. This is the actor from Hollywood. These are the best bad movies ever, man. I'm telling you.
With all the success you got on TV, I mean, you've been in movies like Austin Powers, The Spider Shagged Me, Fool's Gold, Nothing to Lose. What motivated you to become a writer-director of your own project?
The directing and the writing just sort of organically came because I was just always an independent guy and always had to, so I never had, you know, just unlimited resources to make, you know, my project. So I had to figure out a way. So if I had to, you know, co-write it, or if I had to direct it, or if I had to take on a producer hat, it's just what I had to do to get it done, you know. But it was great because it prepared me for where I'm at now.
Which leads me to, I like how you just flow into the rhythm, which leads me to ask you wore a lot of different hats. How did you find any difficulty having to wear those hats as a producer, as the cook?
Yeah, and you know, then I was in front of the camera, so it was it's challenging. I think, you know, a lot of people wouldn't be able to do it, but for me, that was sort of my, you know, just the way I came up. I always had to do it, so it wasn't like I was, you know, had been spoiled, with, not having to do much and, these, huge projects to where it's like, oh, I can't do this, that, and the other. It was just the way I had to get things done. So when you step outside it, it's like, wow.
And Tabitha, you've worn a couple hats too. I think to date you've produced 3 projects. How did you flip from being the actress to getting into producing?
As much as my first love and passion is acting, I'm by nature just like, I always say all women should be about their business, but I'm such a businesswoman. Like, I'm so about the business. Right. And that's why I so gravitate. I really call Brian my mentor because I learned so much from him, and that just strengthens me to make me better. Right. And so, because I'm not done with producing, just because right now I'm in the acting move, that movement right now, but that's the next thing. I'm always like, we're always talking, and I'm always ready for something else. Like, let's do it. Or
what challenging things have you come up across in trying to get it out, and what victories have you had during the path of making your independent projects?
It's been it's always difficult. I think I was very naive because I just sort of jumped into it and I didn't really know how difficult it was, or you know what I mean. It was just, for me, it was just the way a film gets made. You know what I mean. I didn't have the luxury of making all these studio films and then try to do the independent thing, and like, whoa. I remember meeting with folks, name I won't say, but you guys will know. They're just big. They wanted to sit down and like, Brian, how are you doing this? How do you do it? But they were like, well, what about craft services? How do you do craft services? I'd be like, did you go buy cookies? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But you go buy cookies. Orange juice. Yes. Get some apples. What do you mean? How do you do it? Right. But they just couldn't fathom or understand the process. So again, but for me, that was just, you had to get it done. So that, that is, again, it's been a blessing, but it's an uphill battle. Even with the financing and things like that, I've been, blessed because of, me doing my own independent projects and being successful, and, with the Eve show and the jobs I've had, I've always been okay with putting my money where my mouth is and backing myself. I just believed in myself. One of those things with me and my partner now, we formed, he was a partner in Rainforest Films, and now we formed a partnership. We went 50-50 on the film. We sat at crustaceans and we ate, and we decided to go half. And I'm thinking, you got a lot more money than me. You could do the whole thing. You could do the whole thing for you. Whatever, dude. You know what I mean? So we end up making the film, and this film was probably the biggest challenge that I've faced, just because it was just, it was difficult to get done, and just because with time and money, and just trying to make sure it's right, and just knock some things I just wouldn't compromise. So, you know what I mean, I had to wait, be it a location or being able to afford a location and things like that. That part is a huge challenge, you know what I mean, the funding. And then once you get that, getting a group of people together who know what they're doing. And then I think the biggest thing was, especially again, when I started doing the DVD thing, it wasn't cool, you know what I mean? You did a movie and it went to the theaters, or else you weren't cool, you know what I'm saying? Right. But I've just always been business minded, and it was just, felt right and felt empowering for me to make my own projects. And one of the things you do when you don't have all the money in the world, you have to put yourself out there and make yourself vulnerable, and know that you're not going to be able to make no Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to make, The Best Man, because you're not going to have the resources. You're not going to be able to get those locations. You're going to have to compromise, a lot of times on your script. But it's being willing to put yourself out there for that criticism, knowing that you're doing something powerful and creating your own space and your own project, and putting it out there and allowing it to be, and learning from that, because you really actually stepped up to bat and growing each time. And and that's been my path, man. And it's been wonderful. It's been a challenge, and of course you always want more and you want faster, but I think at a certain point I learned that everybody's journey is just different.
We got more than enough dough to shoot this project.
We should celebrate.
Let me see ya, shake that booty, 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 let me see ya, shake